Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this F1 showdown between DanNoSkill and NotApplicable F1 to settle the score. Some recent beef that's been going on. We have got 7 kilometers of track going around this beautiful Spa circuit, which we'll be racing on today, and the 2 drivers are getting ready for qualifying as well. We're going through an amazing bit of rivalry here, down to the winter slop from before. So we have Luca here as well to take us through it. Luca, how are you?
Well, I am amazing, and this is going to be an interesting one. NotApplicable, aka James, versus DanNoSkill, aka Dan, and this is going to be a short qualifying session into then a 11-lap race around the famous Spa-Francorchamps racetrack, as we can see on the stream currently. Qualifying has started now, so let's hop on board with the drivers. Let's have also a bit of a pre-race ritual interview, just to ask them how they're doing. Tong, would you fancy that with the drivers now?
Absolutely, we have the 2 of them here. Boys, how are we getting on?
Absolutely stunning. Thank you for having me, well, Dan, on your channel, but also nice to meet you too as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the commentary, guys. And hello, everybody who's tuned into this stream. I know a lot of people are very excited for this. First of all, the biggest thank you of all, of course, to you, James, for actually joining me for this and doing this race. I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, whoever wins or loses, I guess, is the winteriest slop of them all.
And that's where you want to boil down to. Starting off with you making a video, Dan, and then a bit of a call out from NotApplicable. So, NotApplicable, are you kind of... You really want to beat him? You really want to beat him?
I don't know if it was a call out as much as thought it would be a bit of fun. Got out of hand. I don't know if you've gone to my channel in recent weeks. Every single video I now post just covered in winter slop.
No, I'm going to apologize about one thing, because I saw a screenshot of it in my Discord, which was people going in your stream and like constantly spamming my name. Please don't do that, guys. NotApplicable is a very nice guy, a great YouTuber. Just please be respectful with it. It's fine when it's a bit of fun. Just don't take it too far. But otherwise, this should hopefully end it. Hopefully end the winter slop.
Wise words, wise words, wise words. Boys, we've 11
first annual slop showdown.
The 2025 slop showdown.
25, exactly, yeah. So, boys, we've 11 laps ahead of us. Any strategy tips, any kind of racecraft tips, anything going on? NotApplicable, you've barely played a game of F1 before. Have you anything going on?
Yeah, for those of you that have come from my channel will know I'm midway through moving house. So this is a very shoddy setup that I have thrown together. We'll see how it goes.
I'm just gonna, I don't know if you, can stream see this, Tong?
Yep.
This, myself is my office chair locked into an old sim rig, right, with the pedals there. It's like basically physics somehow keeps this all from rolling apart. So if at some point in the race I just fly into a wall, all of my things may have broken.
So what you're telling us is that the man with no experience and a full sim racing rig is going against the guy who's played the game many times and is also in an office chair. It kind of balances out, no?
We will see, you know, only the timesheets will tell.
Exactly. Boys, we're about to jump into qualifying very quickly. I think we're only in Q1 at the moment, but we'll see what you can do on track.
Yeah, it's one Q1 session that decides polls, so I guess we'll head out and we'll get started.
Alright, very best of luck, gentlemen. No killing each other in the outlaps.
Well, I'm just gonna have to
good luck,
say,
James.
Good luck to you drivers, and Noah works into turn 1 as well in qualifying, and well, good luck. This is your race to shine now.
Absolutely, yeah. So they seem to be pretty friendly despite what's been going on now. Nothing dramatic, and as Dan said there, look, apologies for all the winter slop comments, but you know what? It's going to be a good bit of fun as well. And I see even Mr. V's Garage was in the chat earlier. Hopefully we can, maybe it's the first of an annual thing, you know?
Maybe this is something we can look forward to. Dan versus content creators. Talking about Dan, he is the first cat to go out on his first lap. 40 minutes left in the session, so we have about lost 5 minutes already due to those pre-interviews here, and soft tires for Dan. Fixed setups for everyone wondering, so no advantage on that department. We see here Dan already weaving a little bit to just warm up the tires. It's this track, Tong, run us down, you know, Spa being one of the more prestigious racetracks, more also tougher on the calendar, with the longer racetracks on the calendar. What do you expect the issues for our drivers to be here in this race?
Well, mainly when it comes to tyre wear. So we've an 11 lap race. It's going to be a pit stop during. If you're starting on the soft tyres, they're really going to fall away, especially in this game. Look, you need to keep the tyre temperatures as well. There's no things you can do in the setup because, as you said, they're fully fixed. So you kind of just have to keep your tyres in check. It is, I think it's one of the longest tracks in the F1 calendar, is 7 kilometers, and even it's been going since 1950. Loads of changes. Even here, you can see the gravel traps added and all the rest. It is a difficult one, and especially when it comes to overtaking, racecraft will play a factor with the DRS too.
I mean, yeah, with 20 corners on this track, but lots of straights. Lots of overtaking opportunities as well, with just turn 1, La Source, of course, being the hard breaking right-handers happen. Very good for an opportunity for overtake in lap 1, turn 1, but we know that these two drivers, I mean, I can tell from what I've heard, Dan has started playing F1 24 at the start of the week, so on Monday, and this is, I believe, NotApplicable's, aka James's 5th lap on this game. But of course, NotApplicable has a setup, rig up, I mean, he has a better rig, as we saw on Dan's camera, but will that help him? Well, let's find out. Dan has now started his lap, going out of La Source, down towards Radion, and of course, Rouge, there we go, Rouge down there, Radion up here, and onto the long Camo straight. DRS opens before the right hand kink, and now turn 7, approaching fast. Lecom, right, left, right. Let's see how he takes it. Nice on the curb, a little bit of a lock up front right tire, and nice line through there. That takes it a bit tough, as it was a bit wide, but doesn't seem too far. Let's see his times. What he does. Let's turn on the spectate menu and get the details here. And the telemeters, of course. This game does not like to have these on immediately, so we have to turn them on. So into Sector 2, I think Purple, of course, Sector 1, but no one has set a Sector 1 yet so far. We will also have an eye on NotApplicable. Once he crosses the Sector 2 line, we will see where he comes out of Dan's lap, because of course this game already shows the fastest sector. So going through Sector 2, it's going to be 1:17.0, so that is a good point. Where is James gonna come out of now through these couple of corners? It is this part here, very interesting. Campus 13 and 14, quite tough to get right. So on the inside, that curb really likes to get the car spun round, but now towards Sector 2 line, James does a 1:18.8, that's already 1.8 seconds down, but of course first laps does not mean Lords then can also just be already pushing while James just gets used to the car. So Dan crosses the line, 1:45.6 for his first banker lap, so that is going to be important to watch. Where is James going to come out now towards the bus stop chicane, turns 19 and 20, takes him nicely and careful, but gets a good line, and now on the exit, goes on the accelerator, yes, wide open, and cross in with a 1:48.1, and well, that is a big jump for now, but of course the race is a long race, 11 laps as you said.
Yeah, it seems, well, what we saw from practice didn't really, the little pre-race practice we had, we didn't really get any kind of indication that Dan had that kind of pace, but for the moment he seems to be up the top. He looks very locked in as well, so that could be it. And as we said, James is probably his 6th lap on F1 24, so they might just charge the batteries for this lap and then go for a next one, or they might be back on it.
Well, yeah, of course, but this is same car, so fixed cars as well. No performance on the Ferrari and McLaren. They are the same basic car, which is going to be, of course, beginners like can play a huge part as it's just part of human nature. First time starting a few laps, and then you just get like bank a lap out of nowhere, like a corner you just didn't expect to get right, and well, this is still pretty much up for grabs, as of course Dan, we had a little bit of chat with Dan before the stream, and he said himself he does feel a bit comfortable in this game, but of course he is most used with F1 23. This game is known for having a bit of a wonky front end, and Dan said himself he is struggling to get used with that front end of the car. So Dan might have the pace, but he is not sure if he has the consistency to keep the car facing the right way. And once damage kicks in, and well, Spa being a track where you need all parts of the car still in one place, and well, this is going to be the interesting part. NotApplicable seems to be a bit more comfortable in the car. In this practice laps, we haven't seen mistakes yet, but of course, we don't want to commentator curse the drivers here. This is going to be an interesting one, I have to say. The race is the part of the stream where it's do or break for our drivers.
Yeah, it seems they're just doing the one lap fuel, kind of bring it back in, then go out. We still have another 8 minutes, so maybe, look, it could have been a bad lap for NotApplicable, and Dan could have gone really lucky, especially in like the auto spin curves. You want to be careful with them. As you were saying, the physics are a bit different from the likes of 23, F22, and all the rest. So it's a new game for both of them. It's trying to get adjusted as well. I know we were practicing with Dan not too long ago, but for the moment, seems to be favourably in Dan's position. 2.5 seconds the gap. So yeah, hopefully, I'd say NotApplicable, as he's only new to the game, there's a lot of time he can gain. So we can go through this corner and find half a second, that one there, half a second. So once it adds up, he'll know. But he just needs to hope that Dan hasn't got the time in hand. So yeah, it's 1-0 to Dan at the moment, but we'll see when it turns up like at the end.
Well, Dan does not like to lose any time. Back out on track, and I believe these are not a fresh set of softs. We can check on the tire life. These are so interesting. Dan went with a new set of softs. 3 softs allowed per race weekend on a short weekend. So this is a second set of softs he's gonna use, and well,
Sergey Mitvok super chatted $2.24. What is the prize for the winner?
The prize for the winner is pride. We're fighting for pride and ego here. Now, we did speak with Dan on NotApplicable, and NotApplicable has barely played a racing game. By the way, thank you so much, Sergey, for the 2 Swiss francs. So what we're saying is pride and ego, and if Dan loses, he really can't lose. Knowing how many times I've raced with him, and I'm NotApplicable, he literally set up the rig today while he was moving house. So
I mean,
I'd say pride and ego, but it could be Dan's channel at this moment.
This is going heavy on Dan's side. He has all the cards up his sleeves. If he doesn't cross the line in P1, this is really going down on his name. This is also, I believe we understood, talking to Dan, this is on who will be the Winter Slopper of the year. The loser will be called the Winter Slopper, but of course, no tough feelings there. This is just a bit of banter, as we understood from Dan's short. He didn't expect this to actually happen. That was the funny thing. Once it actually happened on the channel, it's like, this came all surprising for the both of them. So for the Winter Slopper of the year, this will all be down to the name. But this is also just to have some fun and just to get a few bit of community games. Oh, dearie me, Dan gets it all messed up. What the fuck? That's not a good start. Way to start your hot lap. But not towards
turn one as well. He's acting like he's in a real F1 race. So we had a question there saying, is there any assists on from Milan? So yeah, we do have assists on. NotApplicable is only very new to the game. A few assists on. Dan clearly has less tractor control after that little slide.
I believe
but for
he
the
runs
moment, I think
none.
they're both running a good bit. As Dan heads up, he's still weaving. He might be going for another cooldown lap.
Yeah, I understood from talking to Dan. He is running no assists, I believe, just giving a bit of a head start to NotApplicable to James, as of course, for 7 laps in, assists are very much needed and helped, as of course. That could be the upside to maybe James' success in this race, as, well, the way Dan just started his lap here, that was not the way he maybe intended, and if mistakes like that happen on a long race like this, on his first stint, if he starts on those soft combo tires and does mistakes like that, around lap 5, yeah, he will not have the grip necessary to have pace across the race. So Dan really needs to be careful not to have many of those slides, but NotApplicable James starts his lap now, goes up, ready on end towards the camo straight, and Lacombe, go on, Tong, take it away from here.
Well, it looks like he's going to try and break just about 75-meter point, taken into 4th gear. He's going to hit the first apex, get the second apex, just use a bit of curb and take the wide line. He's going to go flat out thereabouts in 5th gear, bit of a sliding exit, but he's just trying to keep it on track and not getting invalidated. Very, very deep, very, very, very deep into that corner just there. And now he's coming up to the no-name corner. Bit offline on entry. But he managed to make it through. We'll see how can they take this in 7th gear. I haven't actually played this game much myself yet. And he turns on, he has the hot lap and overtake, so he's kind of playing a bit here with the ERS, but it seems to be looking a lot cleaner. Dan has crossed the line. He's going to start his next lap as well. We'll see what NotApplicable can try and come up with. Sector 2, the end coming up here. Bit offline on entry again, but uses a good bit of exit. 18, he's up 6/10 at the moment, so there might be a bit more time to gain.
Also, of course, now with 6 times, he is still 1 second under Sector 2 times of Dan, but that is a good improvement for his second hot lap round here. 40% battery, that's actually quite lots. If he manages to maybe play around with that in the next lap, he could have a shot here. Hard on the brakes for the bus stop chicane, and now uphill. This is where his traction control will help him more than Dan's a little mistake in the last lap. Crosses the line to the 147.8. Now it's only 2 seconds down on Dan, and with improvements like this, a second on a gain on his lap, that is huge. But let's see Dan, he has started one, but his fuel counter is flashing, so I believe either he could be able to do another lap. I don't think his fuel will be enough to then bring him back. Of course, the fuel is on easy, so if you run out of fuel, we'll basically feel a little bit of a lift. 7 times up, Dan through Sector 2 goes now up here. Up the bus stop towards the bus stop, and well, Blanchimont quite easy to mess up with that inside curb. In this game, you can easily upset the car and then just spin to the right hand side, but he does not do that towards the bus stop now, and he does want to complete his lap here. Goes to cross here the line, and it's a
tipped $5.30. Dan Skibidi, you better win this. Devilish face.
As he crosses the
he's
line.
Doing quite well. He's found a lot of time, so NotApplicable only found 3. He dropped a lot of time in the final sector. Dan has already used 2 sets of tyres, so I'm wondering if NotApplicable is just recharging this lap, and if he's going to go for another one, which seems to be the only option with only 1 minute 44 left. You're not going to get into the pits, get fuel, get out. So we'll just have to see, because James is really going to have to put the foot down and hopefully get a good lap in, because Dan is kind of running away with it at the moment.
I believe Tong now is a great part to question Dan about his tactics here. Wanna have a bit of a chit chat with him?
Not really, but we'll do it anyways. Dan, 44.9, man. Where did that come from?
I don't know, I just felt on the first lap, the first lap I felt it was more like, just taking it easy, trying to scope the track out a little bit and just make sure I got a banker in. And then the second lap, I went for it basically, and I was a little bit more aggressive through the corners, and it just paid off.
Yeah, we were seeing NotApplicable. He lost a lot of time in the final sector, and then you just came out with a 44.9. So yeah, balls in your court. A lot of people saying winter slop in the chat as well. So
I agree with winter slop 100%. I mean, that is what this is right now. But it's also, I'm not gonna lie, it's gotta be one of the coolest things I've done so far on my channel, I'm pretty sure. So thank you to everyone who's watching this, and I'm hoping for the race everything goes smooth. But the main thing I think is, I don't know if you saw that moment when I was starting my second hot lap where I had to sort of go around again. I'm just hoping I don't get issues with getting my foot on the power, because otherwise I might just be done for.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll drag James into this conversation as well. James,
Hello.
bad news.
Well, yeah, moderately bad.
Kind of expected going by our pre-race chat. Dan had to get pole, otherwise he would have lost his entire channel. Someone
would have
asked
been
what we're
embarrassing.
playing for. Someone asked us what we're playing for. It's ego and pride, but I think Dan should lose his channel if he loses this race, considering you only picked up pretty much a racing game today.
Yeah, it was I'm surprised I was within, 3 seconds? Of
I thought you were pretty good. To be honest, I was impressed with how close you were, because I looked at the thing and I was like, you're 2 seconds in. If considering this is your 5th lap in the game, you can find 2 seconds within a lap sometimes, just because of how easy it is to find that time. So I was a little bit worried, which is why I went out like again and just really went for it. But I'm glad I got a bit of a margin now going into the race, but we'll see.
Look, even if you get pole, you only start from one position ahead. Doesn't matter if I was 10 seconds off, 3 seconds off. Nothing stopping me from going down the outside into turn 1.
Ah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. See, I don't know what you're gonna do into the first corner. So that's kind of one of my biggest worries. Is like, I'm just gonna have to play it safe, I guess.
Especially with everything that's on the line, you really can't afford to lose this one. So Dan on pole, not applicable in second. Good opportunity though. You still have to make a good start, and you have to get off the line. It's not all done yet. Dan, we saw you use 2 sets of the soft tires, so you're saving a set. Or James, same as you. Plan to use a soft tire or keeping it to medium hard?
There's a pit stop in this.
I don't even know if we have pit stop in this enabled, and I've not got an option to edit my strategy right now, so I think I'm on the softs to begin with. I have no idea if they're new softs or old softs, but I'm there.
We're going to put it this way. You boys are going to need a pit stop.
Yeah, there will definitely be a pit stop on this race. So, Dan, you kind of mess yourself up by using two sets of softs here, but hopefully the third one will come in helpful. But lights out will be soon, and we will leave you for this race start. And, well, this is going to be a good one to watch here. The lights will be turning off soon. Here we go. One light turning on. Oh, Dan is already... pardon me. I forgot that we have to turn the formation up for 2 cars on. In F123 it's not possible. That has messed me up. In F123 it's not possible with 2 cars formation up, I believe. I have messed up that one, but yeah, there's a formation lap now, and we can check the tires on Dan's car by the tire life. Everyone is on new soft compound of tires, so that will be an interesting one. Let's see the tire warming study. Instead, we see Dan with his experience going side to side. Well, not applicable, just being a bit more careful, just weaving a little bit. Should be enough. F124's tire warming is not the hardest to get used to. But Dan, me needs careful. He is on the soft compound of tires. Those tires warm up fast, so he needs to be careful not to overheat them at the beginning, as of course, once he gets to the line, if not applicable, it's right on his rear end and into the box. If Dan's tires are a bit too hot, he might have a bad start. With applicable traction controls assist as well, he could have a good shot out of the positions box there. So into turn 1, they could be going side by side. Interesting as well, Dan, the Ferrari, has the inside line as the McLaren gets the outside line. P2 has the outside, well, P1 the inside, so that is going to be important. Well, James is taking his bittersweet time here. He can do that, of course. There is no speed limit to be had here in formation lap, but then he needs to be careful not to be too far ahead, as the further ahead he is, the longer he waits in his box, and the longer he waits in his box, well, the cooler the tires will be. So
that's what I was going to say, actually. I think not applicable is kind of, or James is kind of playing the strategic mind. Let him wait in the grid longer, and then, bam, he's gonna have a lot of colder tires off the start. Someone actually said about yourself, Foxy, that Charles Leclerc is commentating.
Charles Leclerc's commentating.
Yeah, it's too bad you don't have a skill. Anyways, we're going to move on to the grid. So Dan is just approaching the grid now, not applicable, making sure he has the right temperature in his tyres. And as you say, traction control off the start could decide this, because as we know, Dan's running no traction control. Not applicable is...
Well, there we go.
We'll just have to see.
Issues for not applicable. He is stopped in the middle of the bus-up chicane.
Oh, that's a tactic that I haven't seen used before.
What has gone...
We have an issues. It appears...
Oh, no.
Oh, have we had an EA moment? Have we had an EA moment, ladies and gentlemen? Have we had an EA moment? Let's find out from the man himself. James?
Hello.
Is everything alright
What's going on?
I'm not sure. When I hit the pedal, it does not move the car.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's back. Okay.
Alright, alright.
Some weird setting.
Alright, we'll leave you to it.
Well, there we go. That's lights out right there. And good start for Dan. He is already gone up into the lead into now La Source, and then takes a bit more of a narrow. Good run from McLaren of James, then already in the slipstream towards Radion and Rouge they go. Rouge being the left-hander here, and then Radion the right-hand uphill. Ferrari leads off, and who's going to be the first guy to appear? That's a Ferrari, the McLaren right on the rear end. And this is going to be interesting. Now comes the Camel straight. The slipstream can help the McLaren. Towards Lecom we go. The McLaren follows right on the rear end. Shows for the inside. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Oh dear. The Ferrari stays in front, but the McLaren is right on the rear end. Dan, careful. Dan reads me. The Plick was in the wall.
Oh no!
In the wall he has. But not too much damage. A bit of front left end plate damage from him, clipping the gravel on the outside, and well, the rest is history. He slid against the wall, but Dan leads off into turn 1. 11 laps still, so Dan could make the second mistake of the race. But let's not curse them now. The race is long to go, and there's lots to be taken away from there. NotApplicable having pedal issues in the formation lap. Hopefully that is not the reason what made him sent into the wall. Here we see the race strategies. What do you think they're gonna do? A one-stop onto me or one-stop onto their hearts?
Well, it really depends on what their tyre wear is when they come into the box. Dan's clearly streaking ahead, so he has a bit of an advantage, NotApplicable with a bit of damage. But look, we have a pit stop to go. We'll see how it pans out, but Dan at the moment, 4.8 seconds in the lead. Goodbye and good luck, he says. But only a small bit of damage to NotApplicable. He could catch up. Dan nearly did bottle. A lot of people are saying Lando Norris bottled. It nearly was. But, as you said, it's still another 11 laps to go. Dan's dropped a second in that chicane.
Yeah, that was a big time loss from Dan right there. What has happened to him? His fring seems to be intact, but I hope that was not one of those oversteer moments that he has said that he doesn't want to happen, as his soft tires are quite easy to overheat. And once the soft tires overheat in this game, there's quite literally no way to cool the rears down once corners start. And the hotter they are, the more on ice you drive. And well, Dan said himself, he doesn't trust the car enough to have that here. So NotApplicable, 3.4 seconds. He is slowly catching with that front wing damage. He has a bit more of a straight line speed. As the funny part, as that with a bottleneck, he also has a bit of an advantage, as Spa is very nice on straight line speed. And in this game, the rear end is the one more heavy. The front end is quite light, so front wing damage like this does not affect the car too much, and it does not seem that applicable. Oh, you're suffering enough. That is a bit of an off track right there. Strict corner cutting rules are on, so be ready to see penalties being thrown in, as they could make or break this race, as Dan crosses sector 2 line to go purple again, but of course he has an intact car. Everything is even going more into Dan's hand tonight.
So far, so good. Dan up to 6.3 seconds over NotApplicable.
Oh, he's
at
waiting.
the moment. NotApplicable catching up, so I think...
Yeah, he's waiting.
Yeah, God, what a gentleman at the end of the day. He may be a terrible man for winter slop, but he's a gentleman at the end of the day. He has manners. So, NotApplicable now within 3 seconds. We might get to see a bit of DRS overtaking, maybe. I think NotApplicable is starting to catch up, but the damage doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. Maybe around Pooh on the fast corners. It's a lot of understeer. There goes Dan making the most out of his tyres. He didn't pay for them. He's going to use all of them. so far, NotApplicable. Good shape up for a move, if Dan is feeling generous. And then we'll see kind of where it leads there. But at the moment, lead 2.1 coming down, 1.8. Dan is definitely lifting off a good bit. And NotApplicable sees that as well.
Yeah, NotApplicable here, getting a chance maybe into the next couple corners. DanNoSkill, of course. This stream is for the battle between the two. It would be not nice to see him running away into the distance after a sad mistake from the McLaren of James. But Dan just gains here in time. That wasn't as fast as he took them, but even with there we go. He slows down through Bruxelles. There, that was not the optimal speed, but that shows that here the McLaren comes closer now, 3 laps in, and Dan's tactics here could help and also maintain the tires. He could be, if he keeps this up, he could be looking for to go onto the medium common of hot tires a little later, which could help. Hopefully James remembers to tell his pit crew to fix the damage, as with little damage like that, sometimes again decides to not repair. and that will lose you more time. And oh, the McLaren goes wide onto the gravel again, this time catching it, not going off into the wall, but yeah, that McLaren seems to be struggling with their front wing damage. Dan just staying on arm's reach in front.
Yeah, quite a bit understeer. James seems to be a fan of the kitty litter today. He keeps trying to find ways to get into the ground trap so far. But you see, yeah, there he goes. Anyways, caught up right to the bit. Dan could be a bit of a slipstream overtake. DRS kind of triples. He nearly goes into the back of him. Looking at the face on him there so far. That wasn't planned. That was not planned at all. But he has the DRS, so we'll try and get a good exit onto the camel straight and try and catch Dan.
Not applicable. Fastest lap of the race, 151.9. That's Dan slowing down for you guys. This is interesting as knowing Dan, I've had some races against him, and sometimes his silly side comes out when racing, and if that applicable stays too close on him for a couple of laps, Dan could maybe make a few more mistakes than he usually does, and maybe this is something he's probably planning as well, getting the McLaren a bit closer to also put himself a bit of under pressure here, going onto the over the white lines. I believe there's 2 warnings for the McLaren, but once penalties come in, as I am pretty sure if Dan starts pushing a little bit, he could go over the white lines a few times here and there. And with the gaps only being so close with Dan waiting, he could have a chance to not win the race today, but not applicable. His biggest problem, his worry right now, is to just keep the car on the track and see where the race goes on from there.
We'll definitely get in touch with the drivers during the pit stop and see how they're going so far. Hopefully James does repair that damage. He hit the gravel again. He's nearly into the wall again. Oh no, it's not going so well for him. But I think this is his 11th lap overall on this game. So you know what, we'll give him a bit of slack. I don't know where he's trying to go to so far, but we'll catch up with the drivers during the pit stop. So should be about a lap away, I'd assume. But it depends what kind of tires they're going onto.
Well, yeah, of course, if not applicable thinks this through, he could be going for an undercut onto the hard compound of tires to fix that front wing damage, but it does not seem so far. 148.3 by Dan. He has picked up the pace again, looking to maybe go for a few hot laps. Maybe now he's pushing to see how long until he makes his first mistake in this race, but now that seems to be waiting now down towards Arush. He has lifted his arm through there, so the time will drop massively through there. 5.1, 5.0. Yeah, the Ferrari. Dan just wanted to show a bit off, go for the fastest lap, and now wait again. Something that seems like something Dan would do for his channel.
Yeah, it seems that Dan is he wants a fight, doesn't he? It's unfortunate that James got that damage on lap 1, but he does relish a good fight. Haven't raced with him, and God knows pretty much everything on the set of course and all the rest. He seems to relish a good fight, but as you say, he has his moments. He likes a bit of curb, he likes a bit of wall. So we'll have to see, because it is entirely possible that Dan could wind up in the wall.
Of course, and 5 laps in, Dan could also be thinking maybe of a different strategy here, knowing that not applicable will have to repair his damage. That will be about 11 seconds lost, 7 from the wing, 2 to 3 for tire change, so around 10 to 11 seconds lost per pit stop for not applicable in the McLaren. So Dan could be just thinking, maybe just do some funny moments here, get some content in for the stream. But also, of course, it's still for a good name here. If he loses this, well, I don't think he can lift this down, can he?
He can't come back. He cannot upload again. If DanNoSkill loses this race, he is not allowed back in this channel. End of. End of. And Not Applicable will gain all of his subscribers, basically. Everybody should go and subscribe to him if he wins. But if, you know, let's hope we don't get to that stage. But I wonder if they're going to start pitting now, are they? I think Dan, he's going for another lap.
Of course, but the McLaren of James seems to be, yep, going into the pit lane. Let's see what tire he goes on to here, and now this is going to be interesting. While Not Applicable's pit stop is happening, we're going to have a talk, we're going to have a chat with Dan himself. Maybe let's see if he has something to...
We'll chat. I'd say we'll chat with Not Applicable. He's in the pit lane so far. James, couple of moments there. Have you got the wing changed?
Wing changed, I think. Possibly. Couple of moments. Nope. It was the one thing I said to myself. I was like, look, just don't make a mistake. And then 3 corners in, I think I made a mistake. So
bit unfortunate. But you have the faster tires. You're you're gonna probably undercut him now at this stage. So, look, put the foot down, try and catch him. Hopefully, we'll be able to distract Dan as well.
I think we've missed something. What has happened to your front right end plate now? You're missing both end plates.
Hey, who needs end plates when you've got raw talent?
Well, I mean, apparently you, because you understeered into the gravel 4 times. But we'll leave you to, and we'll let you try and catch Dan.
A great saying from Enzo Ferrari himself: aerodynamics are for people who can't make engines. So, well,
exactly.
This is now all on that engine of the McLaren. Hopefully, the same car power here won't affect too much. But now, interesting to see what Dan might do here. So, that was a good chat with you, and back onto the race.
Well, we'll get Dan when he's coming in for a pit stop. We'll have to see what goes on, but NotApplicable didn't even change the wing. As we were saying, we hoped that it was selected, but obviously not. We'll have to see. He's on the medium compound tires as NotApplicable, so we'll have to see if Dan could easily make a boo-boo. And we've said this a few times already, but he's coming to the pits now. Why don't we chat to the man himself?
Let's have a chat with the man himself.
Dan, you're making things boring.
Hello.
You're making things very boring here. Stop being so good. What tires are you going onto?
Hards apparently.
Oh, very good. Look,
that
solid start. James unfortunately has 2 end plates missing now.
Wait, how?
Yeah,
Good
look,
question.
it's a long story. We'll tell you after. So, yeah, James is coming up to the final chicane now. He's trying to catch you down. Any plans? Have you made any boo-boos yourself? There's a lock up there.
I don't know. Maybe I let him through and see if I can catch him.
Well,
Sounds like a good plan. I mean, poor guy has no end plates left. So you might
I'll go a little slow and let him through. Why not?
Absolutely.
well, also,
sure
there's a
the
Ferrari strategy on your side there, as he is on a medium compound of tires.
And
go.
chase begins. Good luck, sir.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
He's so locked in. Like, you can just hear in his voice, he cannot lose this.
I mean,
He's
seeing
so
his
locked
face
in.
right there, those are emotions like, okay, let's make it spicy, but 4 laps to go, 5 with this one. Well, Dan now has a good old catch to do here, but the McLaren seems to be going slower now too. And wow, that is all the time caught in just 3 corners. Lecombe with that front wing intact. Oh, now it's just, can James do a Fernando Alonso Hungary 2021 just keep the Ferrari behind? Maybe. And now this is a big maybe. Maybe DanNoSkill just does a mistake trying to go for a move or just following the car. I mean, F124 has really bad dirty air, so basically can't feel it, but maybe Dan just goes a bit too close to the car, misses his point, and then does the same mistake we saw James do in lap 1. But look at this, they're just following each other. And
Nose to tail as they go into the last couple of corners before we go up straight to Blanchard. But he's right in the back of him. Like, James has no end plates at all, and Dan has got a full front wing and a healthy car. Is he going to try and move now? I wonder. Cold hard tires, and he's already going around the outside. He's already gone for it.
I believe that was the McLaren lifting off a little bit there as well, but now towards the bus-stop chicane. Let's see what's gonna happen. We need to be careful with the locking, as of course the car can be easily upset if a car locks up towards the uphill. Deep goes Dan, but yeah, this is a fun battle here, because if this keeps going like this and Dan doesn't plan it out, he could be making a mistake and leaving the win for James, which would be fun to see. But oh wow, that was already a little bit of an contact.
He's stuck him in the wall.
Dear.
He stuck him in the wall. What was that? I can't believe it. Is Dan missing any front wing? No,
that wing.
No, they were both trying to play the DRS game and managed to stick him into the wall. What has happened?
That was, I believe, a little bit of a lag moment. The McLaren has teleported back after that content. A bit of desync has happened there. And if desync comes in now as a play, well, the McLaren could just run off the Ferrari at this point, and, well, no front wing for the Ferrari. So, towards lap 8 now, 3 laps to go, and, well, this is more. Oh, Dan decides to not take the corner at all.
Dan making his own racetrack there, and now he's back behind NotApplicable after sticking him into the wall once. I wouldn't really trust him at this stage, but it is wow. They're both trying to play the DRS game. You see, Dan wanted to be behind going up to Lecombe, and he didn't even use the DRS. So I don't know if anything got the DRS that time. But will he try and move into here? No, he's not going to try it yet into Fania. He's a bit smarter than that. Wow. Yeah, all right, that kind of got a bit spicy.
through Stavilo now. Here, if he gets a good exit here, he could get it up through Blanchimont, but of course, towards the bus of Chicane. If they go side by side, and the McLaren is on the inside, but oh dear! Whoa! Switching to the outside, the Ferrari there with the McLaren's mistake. Side by side, no, the Ferrari stays behind. Dan decides to wait for a better day. Hopefully, not content towards the bus stop we go. Let's hop the camera onto the McLaren. On the inside goes the Ferrari. Stays behind for now. Dan knows playing the long game. Could maybe help him here. But now again, DS battle here. I believe the DS zone was at the beginning. More contact there by the two drivers, and now side by side towards La Source, and the McLaren stays ahead. Let's see if it happens again through here. Dan probably learned from his mistake in the past lap. Lap 9 out of 11. So 3 laps to go, but oh, teleporting by the McLaren, and he drops down his place.
James moving house and also needs to get some better Wi-Fi, but he might have the DRS going up to Lake Com. Dan looks a bit confused in that camera. No, Dan has the DRS, so NotApplicable won't get the chance to go back up the inside. But it seems to be Dan's getting into that moment of making a few mistakes here and there.
Of course, he is also on a hard compound of tires, so tire wear might not be an issue. But oh, the James. McLaren going rallying out of Le Com and now towards Brooks out, and that's
again. He's gone straight
oh
on.
Dear. Is that now? I believe that's not even on purpose. That looks a full-on lockup moment. He's gone full on the brakes and just went straight on. But flat spots are imminent on this game, so if he is not careful, he could get his front tires into a stage where he doesn't want them to be. And well, if he doesn't have front end, it's basically him running no front wing either. So looking for a move there.
You can see how much more grip he has with the front wing. Like, they may only be end plates, but he's lost quite a bit of downforce in the front, and then they're going to play the DRS game again. Hopefully James doesn't go wide. Oh god, what's going to happen here? We don't know. We have no idea.
This is a surprise game for us commentators as well. We have no clue what is going on inside their cockpits there. What are they thinking? Dan said he wants to let him pass, but at this point we don't know what he's going to play here now. He could be staying behind, but now towards the bus stop we go. On the inside is a Ferrari, who's going to be late on the brakes. They brake out at the same time. Barely space left for Dan, but space left for the McLaren, and the McLaren keeps the position for now. Dan gets the DS. Actually, pardon, no one gets the DS. Oh no, Dan has the DS there, towards on the inside now of the source, and gets the position for now. Will there be a switchback from the McLaren there? He is on the inside. They are side by side.
DRS game again. What are they doing?
Oh, you do not want to do side by side here.
I think NotApplicable as they go side by side.
Oh dear!
Rouge! No, don't do that, guys. We can't go side by side in the chicane. Why would we do it in no Rouge? Who has the DRS?
It's still Dan. No one has it.
Have the button binded, but he's coming up. He's going to try and stick it down the inside. Is he going to send it? Is he going to send it into here? No, he's not. He's only going to make Dan scared.
Making himself visible down the inside, but Dan decided to give a bit of room if anything happened, but Ferrari stays ahead for now. 2 laps to go, and well, this has been a race to remember, but also to forget for James there with his half a wing. That's basically just nailing a board to the front and saying, yep, that's a front wing now. While Dan has its complex side end plates as well, so of course, we could also be seeing, maybe on our screen, we can't see it, but maybe floor damage plays a part as well, and with those mistakes, with Dan being sent in the wall sideways, says, oh dear, the McLaren decides to not take the corner.
We saw him go through quite a few gravel traps and curbs, so there could be floor damage as well. James teleporting all over the place, using Ender Pearls left, right, and center, so we'll see what comes up as we're going onto the final lap at the end of this lap. We'll have to see what happens if there's going to be any more DRS games played, any more contact that's going to happen. It's going to be, well, we just have to find out, don't we?
Well, James is going to know, maybe, if he stays in this distance, a big lunge on the inside for a few corners on the final lap could happen, but oh, that is already going deep into the bus stop, and that's with that front wing. Yeah, that is not the optimal line to be taken there, but Dan, as I said, slows down. That's him slowing down again, so Dan does want to have a little bit of a battle here in the final lap. But what I find funny is, I believe James lost his second end plate before entering the pit lane, and then I think what happened was he forgot to tell the engineers, yeah, I want a front wing change, so this is a part here. This is imminent with F1 games. If the front wing damage is not severe enough, the game
front
decides
wing,
to...
but he's going for the move. He's got the DRS. He's going to stick it up the inside. Dan sees him, tries to move over a little bit, but here goes James taking the lead into Lake off. He's just about there side by side still. Dan goes off the track. Not applicable. Is your leader on lap 11 out of 11, and can he hold on to it? Dan can't lose this.
Yeah, that was a move from the McLaren into La Source. Beautifully done, Dan. Having to cut the corner a little bit. Slows down for that one. But now, this is a final lap, your final time going towards Pouon. And the opportunities do barrel down lots the further the lap goes. As through Fanye, there isn't quite an opportunistic move here. But then takes it anyway, makes himself visible, not quite, stays behind. So through Fanye stays behind, and now towards Davilo. The McLaren already crosses. Oh, they nearly slides towards Dan, but Dan takes a position and is now in the lead. For the final time, here we go towards Blanchimont. And I believe Dan now knows that if he leaves them past now, it will be game over for him. So he goes towards the left-hander here, the Blanchimont, final time, and towards the bus stop. Is he gonna do something funny? As of course we know Dan, he is quite a silly fella. He does tend to do some funny stuff, some funny business. And now up the hill we go. And well, I have to say, Dan has fought an incredible battle to cross the line to win the YouTuber battle here.
That mistake from NotApplicable cost him that race. But there could have been a good move into the final chicane. However, Dan managed to gap him just in time. What a race. What a finish, really. He was a bit slow at the start, but then... Wow. That last lap was great. Well, talk to the two boys anyways. Lads. How much contact can you have in one race? He's hit each other about 50 times.
Did we?
Yeah, that was... Man, James... For a man who hasn't played the game before today, fair play. The mistake at Vanya kind of cost you at the end, but was it fun?
It was very fun. It was very, very fun. And I feel like the best racer won at the end of the day. I don't think I can argue that. But very, very fun indeed. I can understand why people get into this, you know?
It'll be something for you to take up when you move house fully. Dan, you made everything boring with the first bit, and then you decided to have a bit of fun. Everybody was saying you had to win. Like, there's pretty much equal support for both these at the moment. Great race, great show, but yeah, how was that for you, Dan?
That was so much fun. I mean, I'll be honest, yeah, at the start I was pulling away quite easily, and then after the pit stops, obviously things got a little bit closer, so it was very close to the end, good racing. There was a couple times where I don't know if it was lag or whatever, but there was some contact made. And a few times where I was behind James, and then he teleported behind me, which I was a little bit confused about. But at the end of the day, I had so much fun, and you know, I massively appreciate James doing this with me, because it was just hilarious. Also, if you're not already, go subscribe to NotApplicable F1, of course.
That's incredible. Yeah, I think we saw the lag spikes as well. James teleporting back, and then someone went up in the wall. We didn't know what was going on. But James, I'm going to put a C grade for your Wi-Fi. Must do better.
I believe we lost that. We missed a donation by Shrimp Pulse here. $5.30. The overlay has messed up, so $5.30 missed by Shrimp Pulse. Thank you for that. Of course.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. DC Racing Simples. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, it's a great race, lad. Look, we really do appreciate the show. It was absolutely fantastic. When are we doing part 2? Are we going to get a few more people in?
Part 2, I challenge Mr. V. I challenge NotApplicable again. I challenge Rick's F1, and you know what, James, you challenge one person too. Bring him into the race.
Challenge someone. Gotta be on track for me. On track Taron.
I
Okay.
thought you were going to say just the track in general, but...
the track of
the track.
The people of Belgium.
The people of Belgium whose gravel you have very badly destroyed.
I gotta do one thing, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, give that Alonso a hug there, yes.
Thank you, Fernando.
He has blessed
so
you
much.
one more time.
So, Mr. V, Rick's F1 addiction, all the rest, it's your time to step up. We could make a good series out of this, boys. Dan's challenging everybody. He's so high in life right now. But I think that might be the end for us, boys. Thank you so much for putting on a show for us. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Thanks so much for all the donations as well. It's been a great amount of support and interaction. And I guess I'll have to get a part 2 going because everybody's saying part 2.
Part 2's gonna happen.
really
Don't you?
we
Once
gotta
I
do a
move
part 2.
house, the Wi-Fi will be fixed, and then
You're gonna
I'm
be
using
training.
a pretty janky setup right now.
That was a race and a half. That was beautiful to commentate over. Thank you for setting this up for us, Dan. And well, who got the winter slop in the end?
I guess not applicable. You have the sloppiest winter.
So there, the comment sections would never stop.
$3.33.
No.
It's alright.
Hello, Dan.
I've gotten used to it by now. It's sort of.
Taryn.
If
That's
I don't
because-
see a winter slop comment, I get confused. I'm like,
Go
have I
into
put the
the
video up? Is it there?
Keywords thing and just be like, oh, banned comment, winter slop.
I saw it thrown around a lot, but I think, boys, anything
Taryn.
else to say?
Well, Taryn has donated $3.33. I've missed the message. Tong, if you read it out.
I don't have the message on my screen.
Well, that was...
This is so brilliant. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Taron. I'm sorry I didn't get the what's the message, Captain?
Well, it barely read, so we couldn't hear.
Hang on, I'll have a look. No, again, just thank you to the guys who made it possible. So obviously, not applicable. Go follow him. If you don't already, you are missing out. Thank you to Tong and Captain. Their links are in the description too. And they do commentating, especially Captain, if you ever want to hire him for anything commentary-wise. Write him down. He's brilliant, evidently, by this stream. And yeah, just thank you to everyone in the chat right now as well who's supporting. I've never done anything like this before. It's probably one of the coolest things we've done. So I massively appreciate it. And Taron said, hello, Dan, the Commentator won. Thank you, Taron, for the $3. I did indeed win this one time.
Just about.
Just about.
Not applicable. Anything else to say for yourself?
Nah, just absolutely thanks so much for having me, lads. I really do appreciate it. Just, I know I'm not a sim racer yet. Maybe a little bit of practice under my belt. I'll be back, don't you worry. But really do appreciate it and just love being part of this Formula 1 community. Thanks to Dan. I know that I kind of started this. I don't really know how it begun. It was, I'm going to blame you, but I feel like I didn't help matters either.
Foxy, anything else to close us out?
Well, that was basically everything said. It was a fun event here, and well, we found out who is sadly the faster driver. It's Dan with the no skill, which, well, according to his name, makes not quite sense there. So have a second thought about your name there, pal. But it was a great race to watch, and thank you guys for making this possible.
Absolutely. And I think we'll see you all next time.
See you later, everybody.